I peel a bit of wallpaper off above the mantel with my thumb. Without all the furniture, this place looks much older than it actually is. I managed to get in by unlocking the front door with one of my credit cards. The deadbolt never worked, and I guess my parents didn't fix it after I left town. Everything kind of smells faintly familiar, just dustier and without my mom's burning cinnamon incense that seemed to be a constant feature of my childhood. I rest my forearms against the windowsill and let my eyes lull a bit.
Otto!
Ah! Leo smacks his paws on either side of the window, looking up at me from the outside with a pleased expression on his muzzle. Jesus, man! I blink. Why are you shirtless? Leo pulls back some, crossing his arms over his chest. He rolls his shoulders, a sort of indirect shrug.
Was getting hot, especially with all that moving around and grilling.
I give him a dubious look. Yeah, you're a hot dog. All right. The Red Wolf responds with a delighted smile. I harumph, trying to change gears a bit. You're not, like, self-conscious or anything? I mean, it isn't like the height of football season for you anymore. I flick my gaze towards his stomach. Leo's demeanor cools, though he keeps smiling as if he's trying to not let that one set in too much. He points towards my chin.
Do you dye that?
What, my goatee?
Is that what you call it?
Yeah. He lets out a little humored grunt. What?
Seems like a lot of work for a little scruff of hair, yeah?
I frown, pushing back away from the window. Leo seems to stiffen some.
Hey, hey! I'm just kidding. You look... You know. You look very good. Seeing you dancing and all that takes me back. But you are different.
He pushes his tongue against the roof of his mouth. Leo's eyes darting from side to side as he tries to find the right words. I haven't seen him like this since we were younger. I wonder if his English has been getting worse without us around. His family really only speaks the native tongue at home, and I imagine it's the same at the shop he works at. Thanks. I'm honestly not sure how to respond to that. What am I doing that's so different?
I can't explain it. You're just like you used to be, just less.
I feel a sinking sensation within my chest. Leo suddenly snaps his fingers.
Mellowed out. Mellowed out. That's it.
Listen, Leo, you said you wanted to talk, right? Because if your big point is that I am not a complete spaz anymore, I'm already aware. Leo furrows his white-tinged brow.
You never were a spaz. I was getting to that. Spaz?
You don't know what a spaz is?
I've heard of it. I never looked it up.
No, okay. I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's kind of slang for someone who's just like always high energy and like looking around like, oh man, what's going on? Hence the term spazzing out for someone who's kind of just acting crazy. Or kind of weird or hyper.
An incompetent or uncoordinated person.
Yep, there you go. Chase? Chase. I spin around and see the familiar salamander standing anxiously behind me. Oh, hi.
Hola, scooter guy.
Leo leans past me and waves. Hey, got time to talk, Chase? I mean, we can kind of talk to Daxton whenever, but we have been setting Leo off.
Yeah, we should
Let's
probably just
chat
talk
with
to him.
Leo a bit.
Okay.
Actually, I wanted to talk to Leo for a bit right now. Okay, understood. I suppose I'll head off then. If I don't see you again, it was good meeting you, Chase. Should we actually talk to him first?
What's gonna happen? He's saying, don't see you again. Is he leaving or is Chase gonna die?
I have no idea.
And how's this?
Should be fine.
Wait, yeah?
But I mean, it might be something where we have to choose between talking to Daxton or talking to Leo.
Should we save?
I mean, Daxton's online, so we can probably just go visit him.
Maybe, but I think this might be a definitive measure in the route. This could be,
I'll save. I'll save and then we can come back to it. I feel a swell of guilt build in my chest. Oh, leaving so soon? Yeah, I've got to take Carl home. I've been watching him out back, and he's just been sitting by himself, not talking to anyone. I can relate, huh? I frown, but nod in understanding. I hear you. It was good meeting you too, Lieutenant Daxton. I manage a smile, and he does as well, fortunately. I'm not gonna say I'm beaming out. I'm just gonna walk away now.
Poor Daxton.
Of course.
See ya. Wouldn't wanna
The salamander
be ya.
waves at the salamander waves at both of us, backstepping his way to the front door, tripping over a rock.
Let me come around, ya. Feels wrong to be looking up to ya. Like the natural order of the universe is messed up.
If you say so, be my guest.
Great!
Leo quickly pushes himself away from the window, darting off around the house. Here we go. Leo steps into what was my old living room, his eyes on his phone. I raise an eyebrow towards him. Something up?
Bob wants me in the shop in Baton an hour from now. Even though it's my day off.
What the hell? I guess labor laws don't apply when it's family.
Yeah. Okay. You know me, I'd choose spending time with you if it meant getting chewed out by my parentals any day.
He shoves his phone in his pocket, smiling down at me all the while. He does enjoy that height difference, doesn't he? Something in the back of my mind seems to whisper, not as tall as Flynn, though. Though I quickly shove that thought aside. Leo peers around, touching the faded green wood paneling that surrounds the room.
I remember the first time I was in here, back during Halloween of 2000. Your mom invited me over. I didn't speak a bit of English, and didn't have no damn costume. But the parents thought we were friends, so I got ushered in here. Your mom cut up one of the old bed sheets and made me this ghost-looking outfit.
Oh, geez, I remember that. I threw a little tantrum because I apparently liked those sheets. Leo crosses his arms, grinning as he stares at the spot in the corner of the room.
My Hispanic ass didn't know what the hell you guys were doing to me.
I start snickering some.
I thought it was a ritual or something to steal my soul. I don't know. That was right around the time I was learning about the devil and shit. It was bad juju to me, all of it.
He makes a little motion of crossing himself. Leo's a complete atheist nowadays, but he still has that whole cultural Catholicism ingrained in him. Oh my god, I need to find some pictures of us from back then sometime. I had the biggest buck teeth, so I wanted to be a rabbit. I was too young to understand the speciest implications of that idea. Leo chuckles heartily, kicking an errant piece of wood out of the way.
What did you end up being? I forget.
I think I was a knight? Or a wizard? It might have been in 2001.
Oh man, 2001. Everyone around was a soldier or commando that year because of the whole terrorist stuff. And I dressed up as a...
A pizza! Leo laughs, wagging his finger at me and nodding.
a pizza.
That was the best costume.
I could barely move.
He kept falling over.
It didn't fall over, Chula. I kept getting pushed over by...
Leo's cheery demeanor sombers some, and he exhales. I remember who kept pushing him over as well. We're quiet. We're quiet for a time, Leo wiping some dust off the bottoms of his feet. I'd, offer you a seat if this place still had, well, furniture. He waves dismissively at the offer before beginning to wring his paws together. It was always really obvious when Leo was tense or nervous growing up. His shoulders would be raised up high. His tail had a slight curl to it. Right now, he looks just like that. Leo? Leo opens his mouth as if to say something, but doesn't. Instead, he just turns, looking back towards the corner. Leo, is everything alright?
What happened to you, Chase?
The question takes me off guard. I was expecting the worst, but the general nature of it has me confused. What? He turns, looking over his shoulder.
Why are you doing this? Did I do something serious, like Otter? Tell me now, please.
I don't understand. You haven't done anything wrong. Besides busting into Flynn's place and assault him, of course. I'll keep that to myself for now.
I know what you're doing. And you know I know what you're doing. I'm not Doom, you know. I know I'm not. Everything that we've had problems with in the past was cause of miscommunication shit. Nothing I say is as smart as Jenna or TJ or phony as Carl and Flynn. I gotta translate everything in my head so it's just slower. Talking to me is hard, yeah, I get that. Just fucking try for me, please. Honest, like, too.
He looks at me, his chest rising and falling with some quickened pace. I slowly step to the side, resting my back against the wall and sliding down to a sitting position. I sit cross-legged and stare at the gap between my legs. You're not hard to talk with. I am.
Just say it.
Without thinking, I do. I had sex with Flynn. And so have you. I hear Leo take a step forward, then stop.
He told you?
Yeah, to get me mad. We're not on the best of terms right now, Leo.
It was after you left for college. I swear on my neck.
A silence falls between us. It feels like Leo is practically leering over me, but I can't muster the courage to look up. Have you Well, have you had others?
Yes, but nothing ever felt the same as. You know. I'm not like Flynn. I can't go to that place outside of town and just let loose. He knows. You know, I tried that, and it felt so wrong and fucked up. It's not the same. What's the point of doing that shit if it's not with your love, you know? And I'm not talking about that whole cultural, religious murder where you gotta marry and all that. Because I know how Flynn ticks, and I know how I tick. It's completely different, yeah?
I hear the floorboards creak beneath his feet, Bull shifting his weight from foot to foot.
I just thought you were like me in that sort of way. For Flynn, this is nothing. This is just another notch on the wall.
I cross my arms over my chest tightly, feeling cold sweat on my neck.
You show up for the first time in years, and it's like you don't want nothing to do with me. I get it, you know? I'm good at sports stuff and core stuff, and none of you gave a shit about any of that. And that was fine. Just roll your eyes at Leo. I just liked having my friends around. All of them. But especially you.
Another pause.
You are... You were... You are like family. Here, you can't just flick a switch and stop being family. Growing up with the shit we dealt with.
Leo, you've got your real family.
And you know what they always ask about? You!
Well, you've got Flynn and Carl still.
Flynn's... you know how Flynn is? And Carl? He's not doing too hot. I don't know how long he lasts.
Long he'll last? What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know, Otter. Just look at him sometime. Really look at him and his whole...
Leo trails off into a long sigh.
You all left and it was never the same. So I pretend. I remember all the stuff you used to say, even the Nagi beats. I imagine you're there with me at work, talking to me while I'm fixing cars. I pretend I'm teaching you about the basics, like changing oil or replacing headlights. I know it's not riveting stuff, but it's all good because you love me and I love you too. Then I drive home listening to whatever is on the radio and I imagine you reacting to it. Groaning every time the word choke is mentioned in a country song or making some snide-ass remark at the political ads. And when I get home, I go online. And there's this pulling in my chest, like a dread, you know? You click on this social media shit and it's you. The real you. And you're different. You're wearing new shirts, hanging out with new friends, drinking fancy porridge beers. And it feels like I'm losing you all over again. So I just avoid it. I pretend. I pretend that we're drinking together on the patio as the sun goes down. I pretend that you're watching me play my games. And I pretend at night that my pillow I've got my arms are wrapped around is you. Making your little irk noises when you do. Making your little irk noises you do when I ruffle your head fur or squeeze you.
Leo chuckles bittersweetly, the gravity of his words seeming to take hold now that he's actually said them out loud. Jesus, Leo.
A week ago you showed up outside of my window. The sky was red. You said, hey.
Leo, what are you talking about?
Why were you there, Chess?
His tone is strange, almost without inflection. Leo, I don't know what you mean. I wasn't here last week. Next thing I know, he's stepping closer to me. He stops, then lowers himself into a sitting position against the wall. The wolf's arms stretch around my torso, pulling me against his side. Leo is...
He's having an episode, dude.
He is not moving on at all and mourning the death of his relationship.
It's actually because they had the same conversation in Jenna's route, and some weirder shit was happening. But yeah, you're right. He's not moving on at all. I think hugging him in this case would be very wrong, but it would probably be the safer thing to do in the short term. But do nothing. You don't really want to. But doing nothing is more honest because it's like, dude, we're done. I just didn't actually communicate this to you because I'm a dickhead.
Or he's in shock.
Oh, it's been years. So I think, can people stay in shock for, well, are you talking about
No,
Chase being in
being
shock?
told all this stuff, putting them in shock. Like, what the fuck did I just hear?
Oh, so Chase might be in shock?
We could have him be in shock.
Just like hug him?
But I mean, as you said, the safer option is to hug him.
Yeah. We are alone in a dilapidated house with apparently a loose door against a water heater that Leo could probably swing as a weapon, like a fucking Tauren from World of Warcraft.
I mean, it's the whole thing of like, if Leo had moved on, things would be better for him.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. I mean, it is shitty Echo. It is falling apart and continuing to fall apart.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go with just do nothing and be like, dude.
Same.
If someone told me that, I would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's,
Something's really wrong with Leo. As different as he says I am, something is truly different with him. I keep my paws in my lap. He puts more weight on me, and I have to prop myself up to keep from falling over. He's so heavy now. I hear him clearing his throat.
things aren't great here, Ula. I was trying to act like they were, but you know now. I just know if you were here, I could protect you and things would be better.
Leo, that might not be true, and I don't need protecting. Leo says nothing. The minutes pass. I can hear TJ talking excitedly about something out in the backyard with Jenna, chiming in occasionally. Finally, Leo pulls back. He looks at me as if about to ask a question, but seemingly decides he doesn't want to know the answer.
Oh, this is pretty something. Yeah?
I rub my paw against my forehead. Not as pretty something as your fake pillow, me
Fake me
pillow
pillow.
you sleep at night.
That is pretty something as your fake me pillow.
I expect Leo to laugh at that, but he just peers at me with this sort of melancholy smile.
Yeah.
He pushes himself to his feet, dusting off the back of his pants.
Let me know if you need any help with the project or anything. I'll be around.
Okay, but hey, his tail perks up some. The wolf turning to look down at me. You should see somebody. I mean, about what you just told me.
It never worked for you, Otter?
I sigh. Yeah, but it could for you. Leo shrugs.
Maybe. I'll see you later.
He gives me his best reassuring smile before heading outward, running his paws along the walls as he leaves. After a while, I stand as well. I notice something odd sitting on top of the water heater.
Spider!
Curious, I pick it up. It's a huge ass spider.
Oh no, the fucking.
Oh, I never knew Mom framed this. This is from high school, I think. Senior year? She always wanted a picture of the two of us. I always thought it was kind of weird how okay my parents were with us being together. I remember after they found out I was gay, I thought that things would be ruined and I wouldn't be, I don't know, normal. Then they sent me a voicemail saying that they loved me and that it didn't really matter. Your happiness is priority number one. I wonder if they forgot this during the move. No, I guess it was. It's. I guess it's kind of a weird picture. I. I wouldn't be surprised if they left on purpose. I haven't talked to them much lately. I should go. I step outside. The air is still kind of hazy, and the smell of hot dogs is pretty palpable. I look over across the yard. TJ and Jenna are sitting at the table. TJ's munching on his third helping of cut up hot dogs, while Jenna of sits on top with her feet hanging off the side. It's kind of funny how small she is. She never grew up past age 13. My mind drifts back to the other Phoenix in the smoke room. They all kind of had that youthful appearance to them. I wonder if that's part of the appeal. I'm surprised you were so comfortable talking around in there. I glance over my shoulder, looking back at the weather-worn house. Huh? Why? The spiders.
Thanks, Jenna.
You're still afraid of them, right? I had been trying not to think about that whole time, actually. It felt like there were lots of them in the house, even when I lived in there. And that was with my parents bomb-bugging the place every month. I resist the urge to reach down and rub my feet in case there were any walking around in my fur. Not like deathly. I cross my arms over my chest, tugging some at the fabric of my shirt. Right, of course. TJ snickers some. Jenna pulls out her phone, beginning to tap away at the digital keypad. By the way, I found something else that might help you with your project. Oh? It's in my purse. Could you grab it?
Oh, Jenna, you bitch.
Sure. What is it? What is it? Jenna doesn't answer, continuing to text. TJ, meanwhile, seems to be grinning at his empty ketchup-covered plate. Jenna? I move over to the purse, unbuttoning the main flap. I've always been a bit wary of going through girls' purses for obvious reasons. The first thing I notice through this piece of folded is a First thing I notice though is a folded piece of paper with Chase written in capital letters on top. It looks like there's something wedged inside of it as well. Curious, I pull back the top of the paper and feel something fuzzy against my paw pads, then a bristling sensation. Then prodding things tickle the tips of my fingers. I squeeze one and yank it up. Dangling before me is an orange and black tarantula, its limbs bouncing in the sudden pull of force. Jesus fuck! I toss it down on the dirt. It's seeming to bounce right back up and land sideways on my foot. I scramble back, kicking at it with as much force as I can muster. My chest heaves and I feel my heart I feel like my heart is about to burst from my chest. The tarantula doesn't move, and that's when I realize TJ and Jenna are grinning at me. I also feel the sharp pain in my chest, and then everything starts to go dark. He just has a heart attack.
I roll around in pain. Everything starts going dark. Jenna's expression goes from laughter to horror as she's filming the very crime that killed me. And the realization she will never become the psychologist researcher she wants to be.
So what's your reason for wanting to go to grad school? Well, I accidentally killed one of my best friends, and now I want to be a researcher.
To figure out what the fuck is wrong with me.
You see, he went to this place that exploits my people. So, it's all fun and games until someone has a heart attack.
Because their phobia was practically thrown on top of them?
Jenna has her phone pointed in my direction. Jesus. She's filming this.
Language! It's just rubber, Chase!
That! I point at the limp, 8-legged thing that's now 3 yards away, stuck in a patch of goat head brambles. That is not funny! Actually, it is.
No, I'm sorry, Chase. Ha! It was Jenna's idea. It was 99 cents at that gas station we stopped at back in Two Canyons.
Ugh. No wonder you two wouldn't let me see what you bought. Did you guys actually have anything for me? I mean, regarding my project? TJ begins to look even more guilty. Jenna sets her phone down and goes about reclasping her purse. Not really, Chase. As you said, there wasn't much information about the 1877 happenings. Most search results directed us towards dubious ghost hunting websites. With no source veracity that could be utilized in a formal report. Well, I sigh, stilling my swaying tail and feeling calm once again. Was there anything that could be used in a non-formal report? The Finnick cocks her head, her eyes seeming to look right through me as she thinks, before meeting my gaze once more. What do you want to know more about? The UFOs spotted over Echo Canyon by a group of night hikers? The Meseta ghost woman who wanders along the edges of the reservation, seducing men before impaling them on the branches of the mesquite tree? Or perhaps the Mothman who apparently has been seen driving a semi-truck down Route 93 at midnight.
Maybe he needed a side job? The economy has been tough lately.
I let out an exasperated noise. Okay, I get your point. Although there were lots of mentions of the riots here. That includes the happenings of 1915, as well as some other unsourced stuff about violence after World War II. Just a general perception that we were all a bunch of desert malcontents living in some sort of Sodom and Gomorrah style situation for a century. Sounds about right. We even had a famous brothel that served all the miners in the area.
A brothel?
I look at TJ, who's frowning acknowledgingly. Does he really not know? It's a place where they make broth and other types of soup.
I I know what a brothel is. Worked in one.
Jenna merely smirks and shakes her head. It was called the smoke room. Wait, what? I tense up and they seem to notice.
Jace, is something wrong?
The smoke room.
Yeah?
That still exists. I was there last night. You went to a brothel last night? Jenna says this less as a question and more as a deadpan matter of fact.
What?
No, it was that bar that Flynn went to. It's right by the casino. There's no sign for it or anything. It's like some sort of gay bar. A gay bar? In this country? In this county? At least that's what it seemed like it was. I shrug, trying to phrase this as carefully as I can without going into too much details. Everything smelled like cigarettes, and there was this really shady bar, this really shady back room that they called the smoke room. That's. Jenna presses her knuckle to her lip, seemingly in thought. She glances up towards me after a moment. Interesting. With that look, I regret bringing it up already. Jenna seems to be maintaining this sort of intrigued expression. I begin bracing for any follow-up questions.
What sort of music did they play there?
Um, like
You know, gay music.
like
Yeah.
surprisingly,
Smoke
DJ is the
music.
first to speak. Yeah, the music there was kind of smoky,
Smoke music.
I don't see any sign of judgment on his face either. Just genuine curiosity. Oh, it was kind of weird, actually. It was just sort of droning, bassy synth stuff.
Really?
Yeah, never heard anything like it. It was kind of loud, too. I'm not sure why you're asking. It's TJ's turn to shrug.
Just curious.
Yeah, it also sounded like. Okay.
So it was a rave.
So. You went to a gay bar with Flynn, named after an old famous brothel? I exhale, resting my paws on the edge of the table. It's not like that. Like what? Daxton, Carl, and I followed him after he left us in the middle of hanging out last night. But he sort of, well, I think he was trying to invite me to go along with him in his own sort of way. He left his phone behind with just one text message on it with the address. I think he wanted to see if I was interested enough to snoop through his phone instead of outright inviting me. It's hard to explain. Oh no, I understand completely. That sounds quite like Flynn. Very non-committal, and giving himself something that he can hold against you, if need be, to protect himself by having any semblance of vulnerability. From having any semblance of vulnerability. Jenna rubs the bridge of her small nose, still seemingly frustrated with Flynn's behavior. She reaches down, picking up a paper plate from beside her, and shoves it into a plastic bag. I'm ready to head back to the motel. Chase, are you coming? Oh, sure. TJ begins cleaning up as well, moving to drag the picnic table and back into the appropriate yard. I help. I sit cross legged on the edge of the bed with a notebook in my lap. I'm sort of half planning out my script and half kicking myself for not doing this preliminary stuff earlier. I'm also kicking myself for not getting any scans of the photos and documents I found at City Hall. The B roll I've got doesn't quite cut it. Having actual historical papers with pictures of Echo inhabitants that aren't available online might look good for my portfolio. At least that's what Jenna said. I gotta doubt they're open on Saturday, so I'd have to talk to Flynn. And Flynn still wants me to assist him with his whole interrogation he has planned, or at least stay out of the way. For now, I just want to focus on my project. Currently, Tina is tapping away at her laptop on her side of the room. Although she seems more distracted than she was at the beginning of this trip, TJ has the TV on some behind the album rock music history show that's he's pretty engrossed in from the looks of it. He lays he lays beside me, his back propped up by pillows. After a few more scribblings for my outro, I toss aside my notebook and slink over to the other side of the room. I take a few packets of candy egg oatmeal that we've got about 20 of and empty them uh into one of complimentary styrofoam bowls on the table. He empties them into one of the complimentary styrofoam. I know it's for kids, but I've always kind of liked this stuff. I'm a sucker for anything that's bland as hell with the tiniest bit of sweet add ins, like oat bran cereal with dehydrated marshmallow bits. I fill the bowl with water, about a centimeter high, higher than the top of the oatmeal. A little bit of maple cinnamon dust rises up from the mixture. Hopefully this pack isn't too old. I didn't check the expiration date before grabbing it from my dorm room. I bring the mixture to the microwave and set it for 1 minute. On the TV, some raccoon is talking about how their music videos went viral back in 2006, and how the fame went to his bandmate's head. It's weird to think that 2006 was nearly 10 years ago at this point. I remember watching shows like this with my mom as a kid, and they were always about hair metal bands in the 80s and 90s. Each episode was full of grainy old pack film photographs of the alleged happier days of the focused superstar. It has me thinking about how much stuff like that there is from my childhood. There's nearly a gig of videos on my old laptop, ranging from home movies, machinima, to class projects I did with the group. Man, machinima, that is definitely a term that's not really used that much anymore,
No,
if I
that's
remember
not. I'm
correctly.
surprised they actually got it in here with them making money from this. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Angry video game nerd, nostalgia critic. Damn.
Yeah, all those.
I think
Plus,
DSP was actually part of that too for a little bit, right?
I think he was.
Mr. Seal. Oh.
Yeah, he has a tendency to join groups like that and then get kicked out of them when they realize, what he is. Plus,
Human seal.
plus, all my social media posts are still there. It's not like these days were faded memories on a sepia tinted photo roll picture. They're right there in full 10:720p aspect ratio, a few clicks away. Maybe that's why I don't think about Echo as with as much as nostalgia as someone like TJ or, well, Leo, for sure. Speaking of, I checked my phone a little while ago. He hasn't texted me. The microwave beeps, and I take the oatmeal out. The directions say to leave it in for 2 to 2.5 minutes. That always seems like overkill. I like it a bit soupy.
I'm gonna take a shower. You guys want anything from the shower?
I blink. What? TJ stares at us blankly. Do we want anything from the shower?
He wants some
Jenna,
shampoo. You want some? Do you want some bath water? You can sell it online. Here's eBay.
You need to take a dump. Like, do you also need to take a shower?
I'd have some hair that's gonna bundle up at the drain. You want that?
Jenna, after a couple of seconds, looks up from her laptops at the link. TJ? He looks as if he's come to some realization, then quickly covers his face with his paw.
Yeah, I meant forget I said the second part.
I shift awkwardly, bowl of oatmeal in paw.
I didn't get much sleep last night.
Jenna sighs. It's okay, neither did I. I didn't wake you guys when I got in, did I? No, we were already pretty much awake.
That man shouting in the parking lot was making me uneasy.
Mm-hmm. I didn't hear any of that. Jenna lowers the top of her laptop some, though not closing it all the way. Well, it started when you came back from the smoke room, presumably, and started screaming in the
Chase.
Ah!
Flynn! Flynn!
He falls to his knees. Flynn! It all started a little before midnight. You hadn't arrived yet.
It sounded like he was walking all around the motel. He even screamed at our window.
Was he yelling anything specific?
No, he was just shouting. I heard a few words here and there, but never like any full sentences or anything. He just sounded really, really mad. Or sad. I almost went out to hug him.
TJ pauses, looking at the bowl I'm holding.
Or scared. I don't know. Wonder if that was Duke. Like, who? Part of me kind of wanted to call Leo. I'm kind of like wondering who could that have been? Like, just which one of the characters that we've seen so far?
Well, I mean, if it was Brian or Leo, you'd probably notice. It says probably Duke.
Duke seems more like
Or that
Duke
other guy.
seems some more Clint.
Yeah, it could be Clint.
Could be Clint. You sound high. So yeah, it could be Clint.
He is a meth head.
Yeah.
So I mean, meth heads when they're on meth, they just do all kinds of crazy shit. So
that could be
like their inhibition goes completely out the window.
Now, there's a few other characters that you haven't met yet. There's one named Micah who's a bat. He's in Jennings Route. And it could be him. Because I think around this time he's supposed to have gotten back. But he's also into drugs. Not the hard shit, though, just marijuana. So it's probably more likely Duke. I'm going to go with
if it's screaming, it's not marijuana.
Yeah.
They don't really go out there and scream at things.
I need to get high.
Stimulants and marijuana's. Yeah, you're thinking stimulants. Marijuana is a depressant.
Yeah. So, yeah, my money's on Duke was one screaming. Because who the fuck would go out in the middle of nowhere just to scream?
What do you think people would go out in the middle of nowhere?
I don't know, but... I thought this was a ghost town. You go to a ghost town to scream. You're gonna have green ghosts pouring out of the side of a ship at your ass, man. It'd be like fucking Lord of the Rings.
Just imagining someone just like rowboats out to the middle of Lake Emma or whatever it is, and then
Fuck! Shit! Fuck! Just loses their mind. Stomps around the boat, tips over, then just screwed about that. Like Emma said, cool off.
Yeah, someone just rows out to the middle of Lake Emma, and then you just hear, Shula! I can't help but smile a bit at that. Really? Wow.
I didn't really.
Leo the Protector. I can't believe after all this time, TJ still sees Leo that way. I called the police, but they s- they said they'd send a patrol car, but I never saw one show up. He eventually just left, a little before you showed up, actually. Feels like everyone's on drugs in this town now. Now? Leo, Leo. Jenna retorts, looking at me with a raised brow. Well, I mean, it wasn't always this strange, was it? Even back growing up. I'd still wager that at least half the third of the population was on heroin or worse. It comes up with the territory. But I will say, I do somewhat agree with you. Echo depopulated around 100 people since I was born. That in itself is the other two-thirds of the population. Those that remained didn't have the same level of general township community that we once had. What little that it was. DJ nods, rubbing at his wrists and looking toward the drape-covered window facing the parking lot.
I remember when we used to have our own grocery store. Oh, speaking of, we ate at the diner after the hike yesterday. Julian works there now as a busboy. You remember him, right?
I think for a moment, I hear the echo of something, a catchphrase he used to use all the time in high school. Well, here we are. I was hoping you'd remember it, but that's okay.
Well, here we are. That was hilarious. Yeah, I completely forgot.
Was he the green reptile kid who peed himself in AP Lit? TJ looks a little aghast.
What? No!
Then I don't know him. That was Cody. Wait, the Cody you dated? Jenna makes a slightly disgusted noise, shaking her head. You're thinking of upstate Cody.
I never got to meet him.
Yes, well. Jenna lets out a little puff of air, pushing up her laptop screen again and typing something. Neither did I. She stops for a moment, turning to look at me. May I have some of that? My oatmeal? Sure. I hand her the still warm styrofoam bowl with a spoon. Damn it, I wanted that. You said you have a packet of like 20. Just make yourself another one.
Yeah.
And of course, she's digging out all the sugar dinosaur eggs first.
So, right. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Julian was telling us that the diner will probably end up closing down at the end of this year. Maybe next if they're lucky. That's like the last business in town besides the motel.
The last legitimate business, you mean? I see Jenna nod before taking another bite of my oatmeal. It's no wonder that people act weird. Even Leo, Carl, and definitely Flynn are different. Did you guys notice Jaundice again after what happened on the road? TJ nods uneasily. The link's beginning to busy himself gathering up a fresh set of clothes as he imagines, too much to his horror, Jenna peeing on the ground right in front of him.
I asked her if she was okay or needed any help, and she said she was fine. Great, even. But she looked really bad.
Did she finish digging those totally holes that are like 6 foot deep in the ground behind her house? TJ picks up some red pajama pants that have faded little Christmas ornament symbols stitched in around the bottoms and pine tree decals on the waist. He also, a bit more discreetly, grabs a pair of bright red underwear and quickly hides them in the folds of the pants. I wonder if he's matching the two intentionally.
And I don't mean like ugly. I mean she was kinda grimy and smelled like raw meat. Ugh.
Ah, okay, so she did finally take out that one guy that she worked with.
Hmm.
She was definitely on something, TJ.
I hope not.
He turns, shuffling himself into the bathroom. The door shuts. You know, Jenna sits up some. I think it was Clint. Jenna is speaking to me, but her eyes are on her laptop. Huh? The man outside that was screaming. At first I thought he had Jeremy with him, and oh God, just the thought of that makes me want to get out of this town and not look back. I don't blame you, but Clint? Judging from popular television growing up, it seems like everyone alive has had a childhood bully, some of multiple. We had Clint and his little gang of assholes. Jeremy, Micah, hell, even Heather sometimes. The thing is, in a town of 50 people, escaping your bullies is near impossible. And that's why you should learn to use a gun. No, 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 no. Don't take that. Okay. They're everywhere. They hate you. They hurt you. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, until Leo did something about it. I still remember the squelching noises Clint made as Leo hit him, over and over outside his own trailer. Leo didn't speak any English, and they were all a couple of years older than us. That didn't stop him. I don't know how things would have turned out if he hadn't moved here. The voice, it had a certain cadence to it that reminded me of him. I resigned myself to the notion that Jenna has eaten all of my oatmeal at this point. Moving over to the microwave, I grab another styrofoam bowl and a couple more packets. I can already tell there's not going to be enough of it to really be satisfying. I'm assuming you haven't gone to see Jeremy and the rest of the family either, then? No, and I doubt I will. By the way, how are you doing? I look over my shoulders. She seems to be deciding on a font for whatever she's typing away at. Catching my glance, he meets my gaze for just a moment. And I don't mean in general. Any sleep issues? And of course, she changes the topic just like that. Sleep issues, as she calls them for my sake. I pour some water on the oatmeal. No paralysis, just sort of strange, really lucid dreams. I think my subconscious wants me to shave off my goatee. This may be the one time you should listen to the voices in your head. I don't think she likes his goatee.
No, I
I
don't
make the
think she does. I don't
growling.
think anyone does. I think even Chase is beginning to dislike Chase's goatee at this point.
Man, like, here's the thing. Like, like, a goatee is one of those things that you have when you're like 16 to like 20. You still think goatees are cool. And then after a certain point, it's just like, okay, I should just grow in a full beard or go clean shaven or
Yeah.
maybe have a mustache. I mean, everyone has a goatee for a little bit and then they eventually get rid of it. It's just how it goes. I make a growling noise that comes out a lot less intimidating than I had intended. Jenna doesn't look up. Wait, Chase. To sound intimidating, the person you're trying to intimidate has to actually feel like they couldn't completely stomp you into the ground. And I'm
Jenna
pretty sure
would
Jenna would have absolutely no problem.
Jenna would pound Chase. She would own his ass.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jenna would just rip him to pieces. She wouldn't even, like, I'm pretty sure she would beat his ass so badly that, like, eventually she'd stop trying to hurt him and just be toying with him until he decided to give up.
She would be the cat and playing with the mouse.
I don't even think she'd go full power right from the start. I think she'd just be mockingly slapping him around a while.
She'd be like, she'd grab Chase's own shitty little otter hand, start hitting him with it, going, stop necromancing yourself. Stop necromancing yourself.
She'd wait for him to like take a swing, and then she'd grab his goatee and pull him to the ground.
I'm going to take this off for you, one hair at a time, every time you swing. He'd be
Unless
swatting.
you say my name, little boy.
Say my name. It's not Heisenberg. You gotta guess.
What are the dreams like? I lit on a long exhale, placing the oatmeal in the microwave. I don't know. I think I'm just tired and it's mixing badly with my current mental state. I've been kind of crawling in my skin since I got here. I saw a face behind someone's shoulder that wasn't really there last night. It wasn't something that I thought about much at the time. I was already upset, but the more I dwelled on it, I don't know. I shrug, waving dismissively. When I look at Jenna again, I can see the fur on her neck has lifted a little. It was probably just the angle, though. You alright? Jenna looks back at me. I can tell she's debating on whether or not to tell me something. I wait. Just made me think about when I was a kid. Hadn't thought much about it for years, actually. I pause. Do you want to talk about it? I'm worried I'm about to open up a can of worms. It wasn't traumatizing or anything like that. Well, it was, actually, but it wasn't real. Did you see a face? Yeah, it was a reddish color, flat, too. Whoa. Yeah, it had a body as well, but I can't really remember exactly what it was like. Did you dream it? No, not really a dream. At least, not in the sense that I was asleep when it happened. I just see it walking around in broad daylight sometimes. What the hell? Are these, like, real, solid memories? Like it really happened? I don't know. It usually happened when I was sad or angry. Like when Dad was having one of his moments. You mentioned you saw something while you were upset. Reminded me of it. I'd just like to see... I'd just see it walk past the doorway or sit in a closet. Really? What the fuck? It was a really long time ago. Like, when I was 5. I don't want you to think I'm crazy, Chase. I don't. I saw things too. As a kid. I mean, more things. Yeah, I think you told me. I had, and it's something I really don't want to think about right now. I'm pretty sure it's just something my mind made up, because I was under a lot of stress. The brain can make up whatever it wants, really. It's part of the reason I went into the field that I did. I want to help figure these things out. Do you see it anymore? At all? She's quiet for a while. and shakes her head. No. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, freaks, geeks, and crazy people of all ages. Thinks that's what we're going to need to call it for tonight.
Indeed. I do want to talk a little bit about Leo and his I guess you would call it admission?
Obsession?
Admission?
His admission of obsession?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Let me actually go back to the home screen because this actually I can just go to we'll just go to title.
Sounds good. Make sure you make a save.
I saved. Another thing I want to talk about is like Leo, I think he just committed like almost maybe a cardinal sin. He's got like, I think everybody's got some kind of weird shit that they do. Like I've got my weird shit. I'm sure you've got some weird shit. And Leo's weird shit was pretending that Chase is there with him all the time and snuggling with his pillow, pretending it's Chase. And it's like,
that's actually kind of normal behavior, though. So here's the thing.
I just think it's like, it's really terrifying to actually open up to anybody about that.
So here's the thing. When a relationship ends, there's a mourning period after that relationship ends, unless the person's a psycho, at which point there isn't. They're just like, screw that person. They just go find somebody else to,
Get off of?
screw. But,
get their source from?
Yeah. But essentially, when a relationship ends, it's really traumatic to the person for whom the relationship ended. And they tend to go through a grieving process. So the terms ghosting and zombieing someone are kind of terms that are there to refer to this. So when a relationship ends, whether that be a friendship or some sort of romantic or sexual entanglement relationship that you have with someone, the whole thing there is that because it's now over, that version of the person that you have is now kind of dead. So people go through a mourning process as you no longer have access to that person. You can no longer be friends with that person. You can be friends with somebody after, like a romantic relationship ends, but usually only if both people are really emotionally available, emotionally competent, I guess I'll say. So they have a high EQ
Yeah.
and they both agree that they would rather just end the relationship on good terms instead of just letting the relationship just die and then move away from each other. So, yeah, if someone ghosts someone else, what is effectively happening when you ghost or zombie someone, for those of you who don't know what these terms are, let me explain. So, ghosting is when you just randomly cut all contact with someone and then you just stop responding to them altogether. So you just went poof and you're gone. Zombieing somebody is what Chase has done, with predictably bad results. To zombie someone is to ghost them, but then come back into their life. So remember that Chase basically ghosted
Leo.
Leo when he went to college. He didn't break up with him. He didn't text him breaking up with him. He didn't call him and break up with him or anything. He just sort of ghosted him, vanished. Oof. And the results of this is that Leo is left in this state of not knowing whether or not the relationship is actually over. And unfortunately, what this does is if there's ambiguity there, the person who's typically being left behind might conclude that maybe there's a chance still. Maybe they still have, maybe it could come back. maybe we could get together again because it never really ended. It might have ended for Chase, but that doesn't mean it ended for Leo. So this is why. So I mean, what can literally end up happening is someone ghosts somebody else in a relationship, and then that person that they ghosted sees them with someone else, and it's like, oh, that cheater, and that they, you know, go off on them or has a problem or something, or they try to move on, but they just can't. So like Leo's had people that he's dated, um, or at least that he's had sex with, and so forth. So it ghosting is bad. Okay, so zombieing, you do the exact same thing, but then you come back into their life. But then you act like nothing happened. So both of these things are really bad because denying somebody the closure of a relationship, be it a friendship, romantic entanglement, anything, effectively locks part of them into that. And if they really wanted the relationship to continue, they might hold on to hope of that or hold on to nostalgia of that. And so that's what Leo's doing. So we call it ghosting because it's similar to when someone dies. So if we look at couples where someone has died, typically speaking, the survivor will keep like pictures of the now deceased person, the decedent, if you will, all over the place. They'll leave their towel out. They will uh, they will buy them groceries at the store that the person like. They'll prepare that person's favorite food. Um, they'll go to that person's favorite spot. They'll do all this stuff. They'll get a body pillow and they'll hug the body pillow at night, imagining that they're hugging this person that died. So that's in relationships. That's what ghosting does. So what Leo needs to do effectively is accept that the relationship is over. It's done. And we actually see this in Leo's route. Spoilers, it's the first one we covered. Um, because what we literally see is when Chase tells Leo that the relationship's over, definitively, Leo moves forward in his life. He
Mhm.
moves until that happens. Leo is stuck in this will he, won't he sort of scenario where he's trapped in this, I don't know, he's trapped in this state of perpetual nostalgia where he just doesn't know. You don't want to do that to someone. So, dear viewer, if you break up with someone, man or woman up or envy up, grow a pair of balls or ovaries or whatever you have. Maybe they're made of plastic.
Made of plastic.
Hey, maybe they had that procedure done. They had their bottom surgery done. And friggin' end your relationships instead of ghosting them. Huh? Sound good?
Hmm.
Because if you don't, you're just harming the other person to an incredible degree. If that other person has any kind of stalkery behaviors, oh, you do not want that. I do know that it will suck if you are dating someone with borderline or something like that, and you need to break off that relationship, but it's going to be a painful breakup. Oh, I do not envy you. But it will be an explosive breakup, most likely. Those of you who are dating someone with borderline or have borderline, you know what I'm talking about. You know. And then it will be over. But it won't be over unless you do what you need to do. But yeah, that's what's going on with Leo. He's trapped in the past. He's not able to move on, and part of that is because of Chase. Because Chase hasn't told him our relationship is over definitively. So, and I mean, there's going to be people out there who say, well, that's Leo's fault. He needs to man up and accept that things are over. But again, Leo can't, to an extent. Like, he plans this entire event in Echo as an attempt to try and get back together. So he's holding on to that hope. Just he's holding on to it, hoping that they can get back together. And it's like, dude, if Chase would just if his balls would drop and he would tell Leo, "No, we're done," they would move on very quickly. Leo might get pissed off, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Leo can get as mad as he wants, but it'll let him move forward. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, what were you going to say?
Oh no, that was it. I didn't know all that trauma was caused by that. Like I knew like there was, just kind of going through the story. It seemed like it was really painful for Leo. I kind of.
It is incredibly painful, especially. So here's the problem with the rise of before social media and before it was easy to see what people are doing in their lives. It, I mean, ghosting someone wasn't the worst thing ever because they if they wanted to know anything about you, they had to go find you,
Yeah.
right? Like, and this did happen. Like, stalkers were everywhere back in the day. But with the rise of social media, cyber stalking someone is incredibly easy. And what will actually happen is people's former lovers will actually start catfishing them. This happens more often than you think. Catfishing, those of you who don't know that term, is where you present yourself as someone that you're not. So if you have someone that you broke up with because they kind of acted a little crazy, and then you find someone on, I don't know, OK Echo, and you start dating them.
DesertMotel.com.
Yeah, you start dating somebody on this weird website you found called Smoke Room Book, and and you're doing your thing. And then it turns out that the person is actually one of your exes, and they just lured you there. This person where you never respond to their texts, you never respond to any of their messages on Echo Book, you never talk to them at all. My room, nothing. And Smoke Book. So you never respond to them at all. Right? They know that you are pointedly ignoring them because when they send you a message, they get the 2 check marks and they know that you read their message. You never respond to them at all. Okay, cool. So they catfish you, they get you into this place where you're not going to know who it is you're coming to go talk to. In your mind, there's a bunch of pictures of this one person, man, woman, NB, whatever, that you're talking to. And then they say they'll meet you at this place, and then you see your ex, and they're there too. And you're just like, well, it's not impossible that that person could be here. And then they come, they sit across from you, and they start talking to you. And they use the cute little nicknames or whatever that they already gave you. Or they use that one way, or they identify you directly by your username or something. That's catfishing. And people use it to essentially keep relationships alive online when it's easier to deceive people. And if you're lucky, they just really, 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 really want to talk to you. And that's the entire reason they've been doing this. If you're not lucky, well, they pull out some ropes
They want to hurt you?
and you get to see the inside of their basement for, a couple months. Maybe a couple of days. Hopefully you get rescued, but it is what it is.
You might have to put on some lotion or get the hosing in.
Or you might get some hosing. There may, it's just Leo's making an otter suit. It's fine.
Be a chase face.
There's a reason all those otters have gone missing.
That's why there's no otters in Echo. It's not the fact that it's a desert. No, that can't be it at all.
It's a body of water right next to it.
My parents didn't move out. They were moved out.
Yeah, they didn't move out. They're just down in the mine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they're down in the mine
some,
and
diamond patterns on their back.
part of them is well, yeah, we do see the inside of his house.
Part of them will live forever.
On his face.
Leo just runs out. Otto! He has like leather face on. He's like, Otto!
Oh my god! He's got a chainsaw.
Yeah, like Brian kidnaps Chase again. Just Leo shows up wearing his full otter suit and chainsaws Brian to death.
I have otter leather armor.
Yeah,
turns into Dungeons and Dragons.
Clint just sees that and is like, "Fuck this," and just runs, thinking it's like the new aliens or drugs or something.
It's like I knew you were.
Oh my god!
He's like, I knew you were fucked up, but not this bad. I'm out of here. You're on your own, Brian, with this fucking psycho.
Yeah, go watch your cartoons again. And all right, sounds good.
Well, it seems like looking in from the outside, like by doing Echo, you can definitely see the amount of damage that ghosting's done. I'm wondering if I've done that.
It does an insane amount of damage to people.
I was like, I hope
the good
not.
news is that you can actually reach back out to people and be like, hey, I kind of feel like how our whole relationship or friendship ended was kind of ghosty, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Do you need any closure or anything like that? Or
yeah,
I mean, it was the whole thing is this. Like in life, when you can admit your own mistakes to people, people tend to be like, yeah, all right, you were kind of an asshole, but that's fine. And they're able to move on. There are a handful of people that probably will just never forgive you, but that's usually for other things.
Yeah.
It's usually not for ghosting them or zombieing them or whatever. Like, here's the thing. You have to give yourself some amount of grace. And also other people. Because when you're like a teenager, I mean, including 18 and 19 and that, or, well, you can go a teenager, young adult, new adult, that's up to like 26-ish, like college age. Like, the thing to keep in mind is that during that time, you're a friggin' moron. Like, your brain hasn't even fully developed until you're like, what, 26, 25?
Something like that.
So
kind of dependent on how much environment. If you don't give yourself enough stimulation, it probably doesn't reach the full capacity.
No, it's the front of your brain. It's prefrontal cortex. It's the portion that basically makes you focus on consequences or your actions. That part doesn't finish. I think that part finishes growing last. But it's the whole thing of like, understand that everyone is gonna be kind of immature. That everyone's kind of gonna make huge ass mistakes. Everyone's a dumbass. I think in some way, shape, or form. I think Rooster Teeth put it best with Sarge when they had their whole video where it's just like, you have to accept one thing, and that is that you are a goddamn idiot. And you'll know that because 10 years from now, you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, I was a goddamn idiot. And then 10 years from then, you'll look back and be like, wow, I was a goddamn idiot. So it's the whole thing of just give yourself grace, man. Like, also give other people grace. It's the whole thing of most people's behaviors are a combination of all of their experience. I mean, everyone's behaviors are a combination of all of their everything that has happened to them up to this point, all of their traumas, all of their misconceptions about the world, all of their mental disorders, if they have any, and mental illnesses, if they have any, all just sort of bundled into one thing, running through faulty hardware and having them make assumptions about the world that are most likely wrong. This is the thing about the reality.
That's kind of
Most of our
something.
some
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, that's the whole thing of like, take people from wildly different classes of society. You take someone who's super, super rich, who hasn't had any real problems in life aside from maybe like academia or something, and their experience is going to be drastically different from someone in the middle class, whose experience will be drastically different from someone who's of the lower class, whose experience will be drastically different from someone who's of the lower, aka potentially homeless class.
Yeah.
So, like,
Or someone who
think someone,
struggles with that, teetering on being homeless, as they experience it and they're like, holy God, this sucks.
yeah, like, yeah. Let me put it this way: I work at a mental health clinic that's inpatient. Most of the patients that I have are people who are there chronically and tend to go from inpatient care to inpatient care to inpatient care to inpatient care. And they just sort of get handed off between these things. And when they aren't in inpatient care, they're probably homeless. And being homeless sucks. So they'll go and they'll tell the police certain things, and the police will take them to a hospital who will offload them into some sort of inpatient care place, if not within the hospital. And so being in those settings is preferable to being homeless. Having your life essentially controlled by forces outside of your control who can't just kick you out the well, they can kick you out the door, but typically won't kick you out the door. Those places are preferable to being homeless. To give you an idea of how much being homeless sucks, your life being
Rough.
controlled is preferable to being homeless. But there's probably a whole thing where they like being homeless for a little bit, then they dislike it. They go to a place that controls their life. They get sick of that, then they want to be homeless again, so they have the freedom again to do whatever they want. So it's just the whole cycle of all this. But yeah, it's being homeless sucks. What were you gonna say?
I think I forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
Eh, is what it is. But yeah, give people grace. If you ghosted people in the past, um, attempt to reach out to them, apologize for ghosting them, um, ask them if they want any closure,
Yeah.
and also accept that there will be consequences, but also know accept that with that potential closure given, you're free from them. That's the thing. And here's also the thing. You remember that you ghosted them. You haven't received closure for that whole relationship. This is part of the reason, this is one of the many myriad of reasons why someone dying out of the blue that you know is such a problem for a lot of people. This is why you will pretty much be
Mm.
told by everyone if a person that you know is in the process of dying, move heaven and earth to get your ass over there for that closure. Because, or at least, say you're sorry for anything you did to them. Anything like that. Get any closure you possibly can. Because when they are gone, they're gone. And you are now forever denied that closure for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
we both know about that.
yeah.
We
So
were
it's just,
lucky enough to actually get over there in time.
yeah. So it's just the whole thing of get closure and give closure. If someone wants a relationship to end, let them end it. Don't try to force them to stick around. It's better to end it and then reopen it later if that comes up. But anyway, uh,
Words of wisdom as always, Finn.
yeah, I mean, there's the whole thing of like wisdom is usually hard gained, hard earned. Intelligence and knowledge is fairly easy to get. Other people have done that for you. Wisdom, on the other hand, is something you get by learning that the hard way. Give you an example. Knowledge, logically, and with knowledge, we understand that someone kicking you in the face kind of sucks. However, the wisdom that getting kicked in the face sucks only comes from experiencing it.
Yeah. You only learn how much it sucks and what sucks actually means.
Yeah, yeah. You only really find out, you only gain the wisdom of being on the ground, unable to move because you're just so out of it after getting knocked out and someone basically stepping on your chest with their boot able to just go straight into your neck and kill you. And that feeling and that experience. I haven't had that yet. But you only get the wisdom of having that experience by having it. The experience of what that experience feels like, the wisdom of what that experience is like, by actually having that happen to you. And you'll notice something. A lot of people who have never been in the fight in their lives think they can take on anyone. A lot of people who have seen a lot of violence, they kind of don't like violence. They kind of don't want to fight people because they realize how friggin' dangerous it is. And they realize that they realize that the difference between them winning and them losing, there's a lot of skill to it, but there's also a decent amount of randomness to just how it goes. The other person could get lucky. And what you don't really see in TV, what you don't really see in movies, what you don't really see in books or anything like that is the simple fact that if somebody gets a good hit on your chin and they make your brain, flap around in your skull enough, you're unconscious. Just flat out. The whole reason an uppercut knocks people out isn't magic. It causes their skull to rapidly go backwards, which causes their brain to slam into the front of their skull and then into the back of their skull and maybe flop, wobble back and forth. And that causes them to just pass out. It's like an off button. Doesn't matter if this is like a slap fest thing or whatever that slap competition is called.
Yeah, that weird thing.
Um, yeah,
Power
yeah,
slapping.
yeah, power slap. That's what it's called. It doesn't matter if it's that or anything else. If you take a hit, which you undoubtedly would in a fight, there's always a chance that your lights go out and you're just on the ground, pretty much helpless. And the whole realization that the moment you're out and unable to defend yourself, the person could just walk over and stomp on your neck.
Coup de
People
grace.
who have, yeah, people who have had an experience where they have been in that situation and know that that other person could have just decided you don't exist anymore. Yeah, those people tend to not like fights anymore.
Like, I don't want to feel that ever again. I don't want the
Yeah,
chance
yeah,
of
I
it.
don't want that to happen again.
That was very,
Mm.
there's a lot of hope.
Yeah, that crackhead probably could have tied a rope around my neck and just strangled me by now. So, and then the
Hmm.
whole realization that when you are waking up, you can't just it isn't D&D, you don't just immediately jump back to your feet and you're ready to go. It's like, no, it takes you like 20, 30, 40 seconds to get your bearings and be able to do
Computers
anything
rebooting.
again. So, yeah, as I said, wisdom is hard earned, unfortunately, and knowledge is fairly easy to gain. You can literally go online and get knowledge handed to you. You can go to a college or a university and have them just hand you knowledge on a silver platter that you paid a lot of money to get. So, I guess at this point, universities are more of a golden platter, right?
Yeah, for
But
real.
it is what it is.
You were talking about that earlier,
Oh yeah, I
just
started
before
working
we
towards
started
master's
recording,
college.
almost 2.5 hours ago.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, community college is for a full load is around 3/5 of what a single class at a university costs. So unless you just really, really, really want to get your name on the books at a university, probably just take all the classes at community college if you can.
That's when
As
all
many as
the
you can.
Europeans are like, "What do you guys still pay for your fucking college? What is wrong with you people?
I know, right?
You people must be
Europeans are just
retarded."
like, yeah, well, we really don't usually say that word, but yeah, Europeans are kind of just like, you guys pay a ton of money to go to college? Why?
Yeah,
We get ours for free.
yeah, we get ours for
I think in
free, and the government
yeah,
takes care of us. Your government abandons you every chance it gets,
yeah.
and then makes you pay for everything. Like you
Then they
guys
then they
special lot.
yeah, then they bring in then you guys elect some guy who looks like he has jaundice or something and let him just go and then you guys then like part of your population celebrates this guy. Um
That are all
I don't
very
know,
similar
just
to a
filleting. Yeah, and your population just celebrates you guys as weird orange burnt president going and filleting some guy who's always Putin, you know?
yeah, like just, hey Putin, get a room. You two could just go get a room.
They do. It's on Air Force One. All right. And all right, everyone. I guess we'll see you all
I
later.
guess that'll be it. Thanks for watching, everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.